Oh, that's a nice welcome. Hi, everybody. That's Kevin stomping his feet because he wants banana bread. But he has to work for his supper. So here we are in the interview series. Today is Kevin's third day of the training at Werner Enterprises. So, Kevin, hi.
Hi.
How was it today?
Today was chilly. It's Saturday, March 13th, 2021.
Yeah. Seasonably cool here in Phoenix.
It is cool, but it's not raining today. That stopped in the middle of the night. So at 6:30, got there and we did a little class on chains, putting chains on the tires.
Ooh,
and a lot of knowledge around that. Like in some places it's mandatory. Some places there are seasons when you must be carrying chains. Like in Colorado from September 1st to May 31st, you gotta have chains on your truck. And Werner has chain banks where you would stop and pick up chains. So let's say you're going over the Rocky Mountains on Interstate 70 from Grand Junction to Denver. There's chain banks at either end of that route. So before you get into the mountains, you stop and pick up your chains. And then if there is bad weather and it requires you to put on chains, there will be signs that say, put on your chains.
Wow.
So we learned how, and we also learned in different places you chain different wheels. So in some of them, they want you to chain both your drive axles, all the tires, and some of them it's just the outer ones. Some it's 2 on the first drive axle, 1 on each side on the other drive axle, and a tire on the trailer, like at the very back on each side.
How would you know? And if you cross a state line, you have to change it?
It's in a book.
It's in a book.
You're not going to cross a state line usually with your chains on. The chains are for when the road is covered in snow and ice. You're not going to run chains on bare pavement. And the chains are just to get you to a safe haven. You're not going to try to complete your load once you put your chains on and take off again. Your maximum speed is about 30 miles an hour.
Oh, so you are not using them to make headway, you're just using them to go somewhere safe?
You're using them just to get to the next place where you can wait out the storm and wait until the roads are clear.
Okay.
It's not so you can keep barreling down the road trying to make your destination.
Okay, and can you tell our viewers where you would put the chains on, when you would put the chains on?
Well, as I said, the chain, there will be signs, there will be instructions. Like the Department of Transport will have a big sign on the road that says stop and put your chains on because it's bad, you know. Or in other cases where you can see there's a foot of snow on the road and you're slipping and sliding all over the place, you will pull over and put your chains on because
and you can do it on the side of the highway.
It's not a good idea to do it just pull over right next to the highway and put them on, because that's a dangerous spot, especially in bad weather like that. Somebody's going to plow into you. So you're going to look for a place that you can safely pull off the road and find a place. And like I said, when they have a sign saying pull over and put your chains on, it's usually right at a spot where you're supposed to pull over and put your chains on. They've already cleared that area for that sort of thing.
Okay. I remember seeing those. I think there's one by the Eisenhower Tunnel.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
And that's one of those really bad places where it can snow almost any time of year.
And it's steep coming down.
Very steep. So you don't want to be trying to go down a hill like that without chains when there's a lot of ice and snow.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was a practical demonstration and a lot of knowledge about the chains and where to get them. And
so you don't carry them all the time?
No, but I would, you know, if I picked them up in an area where I needed them, I wouldn't like give them back as soon as I cleared that one mountain pass. I'd probably hang on to them for a while.
Yeah.
As long as you return them to the bank, you know, because they are very expensive. It's a piece of equipment that's very valuable, and why would you carry all that extra weight in the summer months when you don't have to?
True.
It's just another thing.
Except, you know, sometimes depending where you are, I mean, I know like in Alberta, sometimes it snows in July.
And then you'd pick up the chains. You got to see, that's one thing that was stressed all day today in all the classes is watch the weather. You've got to be able to predict the future. If you're planning your route and you do it right, you'll never need those chains, because you'll know there's a storm coming and you're going to wait it out or avoid it, or you'll know you know, there's going to be a big thunderstorm with hurricane force winds. You're not going to drive your truck through that if you're smart.
True,
you
true.
don't
Yeah.
want to get into those
Not a good
situations.
idea.
Just avoid the problem before it even happens.
Don't want to see you on the news.
Trip planning, very important.
Did they recommend a certain weather app?
The instructor uses weather.com and NOAA. They both have apps you can put on your phone. So when he plans his next day, you know, he's sitting there at night in his truck and he's got his destination, and then he pulls out his atlas and his GPS and he looks for, you know, scales, rest areas, fuel stations, and there are only certain stations where we can go with our Werner fuel card. So there is an app on our phone that tells us where they all are.
Oh,
and
from Werner, an app?
the app on the phone, if you go to the map, it'll show you the fuel stations you can use, the chain banks where you can pick up chains, truck washing stations,
Nice.
and scales, so you can weigh your truck.
Nice.
So all that's right on your phone.
Okay, a Werner app.
The Werner app for the
Nice.
drivers.
Wow,
So
special.
looked at a lot of that stuff today.
Yeah.
So we went up to the classroom and continued to work on our CBT modules, computer training, and one at a time we were taken into the simulator to do some more practice on the simulator, and one at a time we were taken out by the instructor for a little road trip.
Nice.
So we got to drive the streets. So the first person who finished the modules was Chris, and he stayed up all night in his hotel room doing it. So he got to go first,
Right.
and I finished while he was out. So I got to go second.
You put about 2.5 hours in last night.
Yeah, I wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
And so I got to go out second. We're using
And so this is now just you and the instructor.
just me and the
truck.
instructor in the truck, and that only started today. Up until yesterday, the instructor had to be in a van following you, and you had
Wow.
headsets, and he would give you instructions: turn here, turn there, and you know,
Because of COVID.
because of COVID. So
Ah,
they just
wow.
lifted that restriction here in Arizona. So the instructor was very happy. He got to sit up in the cab,
Nice.
and so we hopped in an International,
Uh-huh.
the nice blue Werner colors, and brought it around and through the gate, down the street, down another street a few miles. Basically, we did about 10 miles. Nothing on the highway, but making right and left turns all over the place.
And
he's
how
just-
was your driving?
He's just watching your skills and, you know, telling you, you know, think of this and maybe do that. So I did good. I think my trailer just rolled up onto a curb just a little bit at one point. I don't know if you noticed it or not. He didn't say, but the rest of my turns were perfect.
Excellent.
Speed was perfect. Watching signs, checking mirrors. You know, it's Saturday morning. There wasn't a lot of traffic, so I was very fortunate in that regard. And all the guys did good.
That's great.
Nobody came back with the instructor driving the truck. It's a very good thing. And
Yeah.
we all did good on the simulators. He's
Great.
very happy with us.
Awesome.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
good.
The simulator, I ran into a bridge. So
That's not so good.
wasn't watching the signs. There was a sign that said, you know, 12-foot 6-inch bridge, and of course the truck is 13-foot 6 inches. I was at an intersection. I was looking for traffic. I was going through the intersection. There were like 5-6 people on each corner, and I didn't know which one was going to jump in front of the truck or try to cross the street, which happens a lot on the simulator, and I totally didn't see the sign.
Oh, well, that's not so good.
And then the truck suddenly stopped.
Oh boy. Okay,
Yeah.
not so good.
And after that, I went through 3 other simulations, one of them driving in a storm, one of them driving on snow and ice with high winds, so the simulator's doing this, like your truck's getting battered all over the place, and no problem. There were trucks parked in the fast lane on the interstate, just stopped there. So I came up along that, and suddenly a deer jumped out in front of me, and I didn't kill it.
Oh, thank you.
But a lot of the guys killed the deer because
no.
they've been told if a deer jumps in front of your truck, don't try to avoid it by putting your truck in the ditch and, possibly killing yourself, kill the deer.
Oh.
If a person jumps in front of your truck, yes, put the truck in the ditch, whatever it takes, save that person. But
not the deer.
Yeah, roadkill's okay. But I didn't kill the deer.
Thank you, Kevin.
And I didn't even honk my horn at the idiot parked in the fast lane on an interstate. And then I kept going, and there was a propane truck over on an exit ramp on fire. I'm thinking, am I supposed to stop or find shelter, hide under my truck? This thing's gonna explode. So I hit the gas. I got out of there.
Was that the right choice?
Don't know if it was right or wrong.
Nobody said anything?
Nobody said anything. I just kept driving.
You could call 911.
Yeah, they don't have that on the simulator.
But in real life, call 911.
Right. And I did learn in one scenario, I started out between two trucks. We're all at a loading dock, and I came out and was trying to make a left turn, and I looked in my mirror in time to see that I was gonna wipe out the guy next to me. And the problem is there's a wall in front of me that I had to turn to avoid, right? But in the simulator, it's two-dimensional. You can't really tell how far you are from that. It's suddenly there's just a bunch of bricks, and you can see the front of the truck, but you don't know the space between them. So I said to the guy, I said, at this point, I would park the truck and get out and look around and see what's going on. He says, you can do that.
Get off the seat of the simulator.
What are you talking about? So I got out of I put it in park and neutral and all that, and I undid the seatbelt and I stood up. Looking around. He says, no, come here. So I went over, and he had a little monitor that showed like an aerial view. I said, oh, okay. Now I can see. I got like 5 feet in front of me. I wasn't even close to hitting that guy, but it looked like in the mirror I would have in another 2 seconds. And then I saw the other guy beside me, how much room I had. So I was able to actually back the truck up, walk it over a bit, and then make a wide enough turn. And then I got out again and did a quick look, and I could see I still had room. I hadn't hit the wall yet. So then I was able to make the turn, watch my mirror, and I knew I was good. So I was very happy with that.
Excellent, yeah.
Didn't destroy anything on that simulation.
Good.
So there is a get out and look option in the simulator. Nobody told us that.
No kidding.
I was going to just...
Yeah. Learning as you go.
Yeah.
But did anybody talk to you about peeling the top off the truck?
No, the instructors, like the truck just stopped. He said, you know what you did? I said, no. Did I hit a tree or a building? Or I can't tell, because all you see is what's right in front of you. So he said, come here and look. So I looked at his monitor, and there's a bridge hitting the top of the trailer, and the sign right next to the truck that says 12'6". Did not see that sign.
Might not have even been tall enough for Dusty.
Most of the other guys hit the same thing.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know if that sign just suddenly pops up after you hit the bridge, but none of us saw that sign.
Because you're all occupied looking at all the people.
The pedestrians we thought were the big risk.
Yeah. So that's the lesson. Even when there's pedestrians, make sure you look for the bridge height.
I have 360-degree radar. And then in the afternoon, we just went through some of the modules that the instructor has to teach us. So he was talking a lot about safety and accidents and how to avoid accidents. And then he showed us some really nasty pictures and videos of trucks wiping out, and a lot of pictures of trucks lying on their sides, you know, and they're actual pictures of Werner trucks from the records, and with dates and everything. So it's like from the most recent one in February going back, he showed us about 8 of them going back to the middle of last year. And a little story next to it, driver was in a storm, lost traction, and once he hit the shoulder, it kind of pulls the truck over and it flops over in the ditch. So it was the driver's fault, because he should have planned his trip better and avoided the storm. That was the consensus on just about all of them. Bad trip planning. Except the one video where there was a truck coming up behind another truck, and the guy up in front hit the brakes, and you could see, because it was the dash cam. So you're looking at the truck in front of you, it hits the brakes, and then this guy hits the brakes, and the data from the dash cam, it shows your speed, it shows your braking, like what percent of braking you're using, the RPMs of the truck, a bunch of other information. So you can see the guy hit the brakes, and he was coming close, the speed was dropping, but he was going to hit, and then he just went off to the side. He didn't roll the truck, but he was in the grass. And again, it was driver error. He should have been looking far enough ahead to avoid that, leaving enough of a gap, and you could see there was snow and ice on the road. He shouldn't have even been doing
So he didn't leave enough of a distance between.
Yeah, and he was going too fast.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's like a judgment on all these things. It's all about the driver.
Did they talk about any drivers getting killed?
No, each blurb said nobody was injured, but the truck was totaled, the load was totaled, the customer lost the whole load. It's bad. Yeah. And then there was a couple other lessons, like we have to put a seal on the trailer, this little plastic snaky thing. So whenever we pick up a load, and if it's not already sealed, you can check the load, that it's braced and that it's not going to fall over or cause a problem, that the weight distribution is right and everything, and then put the company seal on it, so that if you're taking it somewhere and you arrive there, nobody's tampered with the load, nobody's gone in the back of your truck and stolen something or whatever. So,
did they talk about how to secure things inside the trailer? Because is that up to the driver, or is that the company?
Bracing the load and stuff like that. As the driver, you're responsible for that. If you're driving along with a load and you get to where you're going and you open the doors and everything is tumbled and mashed up and flipped over or whatever, it's because you didn't secure the load. It could be you were a bad driver and shook everything up, but whatever the case may be, you're responsible for that load. So yeah, you can secure it with braces, with straps. You can use tow boards so that you drive it against objects so they don't slide around in the back of the truck. There's a lot of things you can do. So we're all finished our computer module training programs, and there's still some that the teacher has to give us on his program, so that's probably what we're going to do tomorrow, because I asked and we are not doing any maneuvers or driving tomorrow.
Are you going to learn how to actually hook up trailers? I'm assuming that's a skill.
That's a skill, and we learned it in school.
Oh, okay.
Because we did that every morning. We hooked up and unhooked trailers to get the range ready when we were at trucking school. But today, before our drive, the instructor just verbally told me how it's done with Werner and what their procedure is. So,
alrighty.
Yeah, learned a lot of stuff today. Tons of stuff.
Excellent.
Every hour, just piles and piles of stuff.
That's fabulous. And you had lunch again from the
No, I brought my own lunch today, and I think it was fortunate because the regular food truck doesn't come on Saturdays and Sundays. They get a different one.
Oh.
So it could have been even worse than yesterday. I'm glad I didn't take a chance.
Oh, you said yesterday's lunch was good, just not what you had ordered.
Yeah, I didn't. I ordered a charbroiled chicken sandwich, and it was deep fried and breaded. And with the French fries, it was a greasy meal. And when I woke up this morning, I could feel it. I can't eat that every day.
Yeah,
it's not good. I'll regret it.
But they still have the ability to have food on Saturdays and Sundays with a different
chuck wagon still
truck.
comes by. It's quiet there on Saturday because all the office staff isn't there. The shop's closed. There's still trucks coming and going. Had to deal with a few of them while I was going out for my road trip. But it's not as busy as it is on the weekdays. So that's it for today.
All right. Well, thank you so much for this interview, and we hope you guys out there, our viewers, that you got something out of this, some good information. And if you liked it, please give us a thumbs up. And remember, any questions or comments, please put them below. And if you want to see more videos like this, if you want to support us, please do press that subscribe button. We appreciate it. Have a great day. And with that, we say, with love, from Kevin and Tanya. Bye.
Banana bread.
Yeah, it's banana bread time. Bye, everybody.